Good morning, team. This is super not safe, but I know I'm late. I made it out by the skin of my teeth. I just came out of the canyon. I was really hoping I'd be able to make it to you guys by 6:30, but we're 2 minutes behind. That's okay. All right. Well, I'm off on an adventure this morning, so we just pulled over so we can rock our morning meditation together. So today's meditation, I got my ducks in tow. Everyone want to say good morning? We're all gonna meditate together today. All right. So today's meditation is on releasing the layers of identity. And I was thinking about this morning as I was getting ready. This one is a tricky one. It's a tricky deal to release these layers because we haven't actually talked much about this in these last couple weeks. That this is really when the ego comes into play. And I think one of the best examples of this is the movie Matrix. And I was talking to a friend about this movie the other day, and she was like, oh my gosh, it's like the most profound movie on the planet, because it's one of my favorites. And she's like, but then I referred it to a friend, and they came back, and they're like, all of the shooting and the violence, and I started laughing, and I'm like, who even notices that part? Like, that's not what the movie's about. So this is my my caveat. There is some violence in that movie, but the moral of the story is very profound. And so when you're looking at this, that is like the most amazing depiction of it, because it's waking up ultimately. Like when you start releasing identities, it's coming out of the matrix, and that part it's tough, because it's looking at who would I be if I'm not a mom. And for me, that one was a hard one to let go of, because that was the one that, I mean, I had lived my whole life to be the kind of mom that I had wanted to show up as. So to get to the point that I had to let that go was tough. And it's like, well, who would I be if I wasn't this, whatever your occupation is. For me, it's like a practitioner. Who would I be if I'm not this practitioner? Who would I be if I didn't have this house, or drive this car, or wear these clothes? Who would I be if I didn't have this activity? I had a patient, she's come a dear friend, she's beautiful, but was in this week, and what was starting to come up was unraveling like who she would be if she let go of this competitive practice that she does. And it was just so sweet and so tender. We were in session, and as it started to bubble up, she started to go, oh Roxanne, I don't want to go here. Like I don't want to look at that. And that it's tricky. It's like when we've lived our whole lives to become this person, to get good at this activity, to ultimately what happens is our value and who we are gets wrapped in this outcome, the outcome of healing. I mean, that was another big one for me. Well, who would I be if I never wake up, if I never, get more conscious, if I don't heal? Then what? And that part gets super tricky to unravel, is what's left if all of these identities get stripped away. And that's when stuff starts to get real, because a lot of times, quite frankly, we don't even want to know, because that's too uncomfortable, because it leaves you in such a void space. But there is something really, really unbelievable that happens if you're willing to go to that place of getting stripped. Because when all of those layers get stripped away, there's the devastation of realizing that's actually not me. But there's this deeper knowing that comes online that starts to understand, not up here, but at an experiential level, that I'm like nothing's lost or gained by any of these things. That the truth of who I am can't be impacted. And it's an amazing thing to feel, but it's the coolest thing to watch when I'm in sessions with people and they start to see it. And that one was so recent, so I'm using it as an example. But when it started to unravel, it was terrifying. Like, she just kept saying, I don't think I want to do this. I don't think I want to look at this. And it's like, that's okay, we don't have to. But we just gently unraveled it. And all of a sudden she's like, well, if I didn't do that, like, I could do whatever I wanted. Like, I wouldn't be held by that commitment anymore. And all of a sudden, when she was brave enough to face the releasing, it was like this light came on in her that was just like, well, if I didn't care what anyone thought of me, like, I could do whatever I wanted. And it's like, yeah, you could. And a lot of times these identities limit us in what we think we should or can or are capable of doing. And when we can let them go, it's like you can be anything and it's all okay. And nothing, no amount of failure, no amount of falling down, no amount of challenge changes who you are at your essence, because none of that is you. You cannot be changed. You cannot be impacted at that core level. These experiences can happen and you can learn and they create wisdom and opportunities for growth, but none of them can shift who you are at the core. And that's something no one can strip. No one can strip that from you. And so there's this beautiful quote by one of these wonderful spiritual teachers called Muji, and he says, like, the fire can only burn what isn't you. Like, it can never strip what's yours. It can't. And so when you allow the identities to start to release, you can rest in the peace and the reassurance that nothing that's really you can ever be stripped down. And that's amazing. So go ahead and take a deep breath and close your eyes and settle in. And begin to ground into this beautiful, magical body that you're building such a glorious connection with. Using your 5 senses to ground you in, noticing what you smell, what you taste, what you hear, what you feel against your skin, what you're feeling inside. And then gently and bravely and courageously stepping into that inquiry, ask your soul and your body to show you what identity. Team, I don't know what happened or when I dropped out. Hopefully you're breathing into that experience. And as you breathe into that, what you would be without these things. Can you settle into that deep and profound space of knowing and feeling and sensing and recognizing that at the core, the truth of who you are is not impacted. That deep soul knowing, it's not impacted. You're going to be safe and you're going to be held, even if these roles and identities fall away. And that's actually where the real magic opens. That's where the profound surrendering and healing begins. And when I'm going to speak to being a mom because that was a big one for me, but when you can let these identities go, it actually opens up a space for you to show up even more fully, because you're not attached to being a good mom anymore. You're just there because you love to be there. You're just showing up for the fullness of whatever experience you're showing up for. So as you breathe into that, the invitation today is, how would you show up if there was no expectation, if there was no becoming, there was no role, there was no identity? What things would you keep doing and what things would you let go of because they just don't fit anymore? And so if it feels right, maybe sit in that a little longer, or maybe journal, or maybe give yourself a little sliver of space to just step into the core of who you are. Wishing you the most beautiful day. And thanks for showing up for yourself today.